there's what I might call a patricentrism in Thomas. A patricentrism, meaning what? When you understand more fully that the Father is communicating his own essence, the plenal deity of his essence, to the Son in eternal generation, and the Father and the Son are communicating the plenal deity that has its alpha point in the Father to the Spirit, the processions are actually a departure from and ultimate return to the Father.
That's what
So that the Dionysian hierarchical structure of the exitus and reditus of the processions means that there's a patricentrism to Thomas's theology. The procession of divine and human persons in the exitus reditus pattern makes the Father the point of origin and the point of return. He is the source and goal of all things. One of the concerns of that, and there are many, is that if you're not very extremely careful, you wind up with what Emery calls a form of hierarchy within the Trinity. There is a lack of equal ultimacy in the Trinity, and I'll try to put it in the most popular way I know how to put it. And it might not be very popular because we're dealing with Thomas after all. These are difficult issues that aren't easy to tweet about or summarize in 140 words. I've never tweeted, so I don't know.
Right.
But let me just try it this way and try to give you enough for the listener to chew on and then turn it toward the image toward the end. For Thomas, the essence of God is not irreducibly tripersonal, Emilio. Not irreducibly. Because you can always reduce the essence or fold the essence into the Father as the source of the deity of the Son, and by extension, the source of the deity of the Spirit. For Calvin, for Voss, and for others in the Reformed tradition, the essence of God is irreducibly tripersonal. The essence simply is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, as each person is God of himself, auto theos. Yep. And that way of looking at things moves Cornelius Van Til, for instance. Voss says something very similar. A lot of Reformed theologians say this, that there's an equal ultimacy among Trinitarian persons who are God of self. Voss goes so far as to say that the processions are within the essence of God and do not communicate the essence of God. Because the essence of God doesn't process like the persons do. Persons process, essence doesn't. And so that patricentrism has its root in an essence that is not irreducibly tripersonal, but belongs to the Father first and foremost, primally, and is then communicated in the processions to Son and Spirit. And what that means, and I think you're driving toward this, is that there is some kind of ultimate archetypal imaging of the Father that frames Thomas's theology of divine and human procession. Whereas I think in a view that says the essence of God is irreducibly triune, there is no patricentrism there. And the image is conceived as more a replica of Trinitarian persons in eternal perichoresis, which I've published on, and I will be doing much more on in the volume I'm talking about that comes out, contrasting Voss on perichoresis to Thomas on exitus and reditus. And so I'll just leave it at that, but I do think your intuition is right in certain ways, and I think that we have some differences in divine processions, differences in the nature of Trinitarian personhood that yield differences when it comes to the image of God in the nature of the case. Because if the doctrines of God differ in some ways that are not often spoken of, so also image is going to differ in certain ways. And just, I don't want to give it all away now, but I'll just hint at this. Rather than making the image bearer just a rational and volitional image of the Trinity, rational capacity, volitional capacity, that's what Thomas does. That's what the natural image is. The Reformed view of the natural image is personal communion. Why? Because what's being replicated most specifically in the image bearer is the personal communion in perichoresis among equally ultimate triune persons. This is, of course, not social Trinitarianism, but neither is it Dominican Roman Catholic Trinitarianism. It's a much more robust Trinitarian model that you find developing out of the insights of Calvin, behind him St. Augustine, Bonaventure, and others, and then developed by the likes of Turretin and Bavinck and Voss and Van Til. So there are some profound differences to be had here, and we're just starting to scratch the surface.